A lot of good here. I like this opening retrieval. You just go back and edge out the forechecker, tap up same. Their coverage is all out of sorts. They have a massive amount of space. You make the right decision, just tap up. Really good timing on it too, waiting for Owen to get turned around. And then you send it up. Really nice. No need to get too complicated or anything. Allows you guys to get a really good scoring chance there. Then you get into this spot where it's going to go to blue. Okay, so you're reading the rush. 16, 43 is pushing through, and he's going to take a pretty nice gap that kind of creates, or a route that creates a lot of confusion for you and your D partner. Demidov has the potential to join. So you're looking at basically, you know, you're really only worried about what's past this line. It's a 4v3 situation. You have no forward caught deep, and you got really good back pressure pushing the puck to the wall, and you have a forward who is helping you here, and he's looking to pick up the weak side. So I think this should be pretty routine. Either Bagel needs to come across and push this and allow you to pick up Pretty, or they just go stride for stride together and you get through this pick. It's really important that you work through that pick, because Pretty is trying to build essentially a wall for this guy to chip for himself and then push you out and deny you from being able to strike on that. Okay, so the way that you play this is pretty passive. Like, I don't think, because Bagel has the edge on Pretty, I don't think you need to be worrying about taking him. I think that should be his guy. But basically the read is either I have Pretty, you attack, or you have Pretty, I'll push it. Because this is covered, you're not really worried about the drop pass. If they would do that, you just get realigned. So I think this should be like closed out. Let's assume that like Bubba isn't gonna beat him. Let's assume he strikes here and it doesn't work out and he chips by him. Like, Bubba keeps his speed better than 99% of forwards, so he's able to win this, and you don't have to do anything. But in a world where he doesn't, and all of a sudden, like, he doesn't have his speed, let's imagine he's not there, and all of a sudden he's attacking like this, he's going to be able to pull this off the wall for no reason, basically because you allowed him all this space. When your forward got back pressure and put him on the wall and pinned him, and then he allowed him to chip, you could have been right here, and this puck could have been yours right away, and you could have been playing this across to Owen, potentially countering right away. But you're playing with this massively loose gap, even though you have good back pressure and there's no one behind you. The only player that has a potential to get behind you can easily get picked up by your D partner. So I think it doesn't really matter the gap control. In this situation, you're not punished because you get great defensive play from Bubba. But I think this can be something that you're just all over. You should be working to try and, like I said, push through this, and then you have Bagel stride for stride with Pretty. No worry at all. So there's really no play for them other than the backwards play, but you give them a lot of time and space. Again, doesn't matter, but that's just something that could have worked out. And then the other thing too is when it does go too far. So ignoring that, time and place, you're just going to be in situations like this. I think you can alt spin here mechanically and then sprint straight at it. You do more of a wide turn. I think it doesn't quite look like that. It looks like that. And then by that point, you won't win that race anymore. But I think if you dump your stand bar out of an alt spin, alt control spin, or just S control spin, you'll be lined up better. But you won't win that race. Again, imagine Bubba's not here. At this point, that wide turn gets you too far out, versus full sprint right at him, I think would have gotten you at least a tie, 50-50 on that puck. But all of that, like what you're doing right now, isn't bad. It's just not optimal in in the way that I would ask my defenseman to play. The other thing too is I'm not sure what your mindset is, and this is obviously kind of an awkward puck because he swiped it. But if you're looking, like your read here is 3 up, 1, 2, 3. So any way, shape, or form that you can chip this into this quadrant of the ice. Demi's gap is super loose, so if you can play this up in any way, shape, or form, you've got 2v1 going. Versus playing this across. Again, I don't think it's what you were trying to do with it, because it moves last second. But if you can double clutch that, pull it to your backhand, and then chip past this layer here into that friendly ice, you go 2-on-1 all day. As it stands, you guys do go 2-on-1, so you still get the play, and they execute a really nice breakaway pass. But it wasn't through. I mean, it was partially through your breakup, but you needed help from your D partner, who was under a lot of pressure when he got it. This was good though, right off the bat, handling your depth really nicely. You're basically sagging and picking up both these two guys with this lane. And you get back pressure, breaks it up. Nothing happens for a little while here. This one's interesting. You probably know this as soon as you did it. You were like, oh, that was stupid. But like, you're going to fake to go back. Okay, so that's your deception is pushing back same. That's what you faked. And then you're going to make your actual play. So your actual play is going to be something else, presumably. In this case, you do a fake. So you try and sell that backwards play. And then a second later, you commit to the backwards play. So again, not to overcomplicate, a silly little mistake, but when you're going in for these retrievals, the purpose is to sell some sort of deception and then do something else. Obviously, sometimes like they won't bite, and when they don't bite, then that's kind of the game theory that builds on itself. If they don't bite, then you can do what you deceived, and they're like, fuck, like he sold me on that, or he tried to sell me on that. I didn't buy it, and then he did it anyway. He bluffed me almost. So, but like, this is an example where I think you're just kind of overcomplicating it, because Pretty's going to fully commit on the backwards pass, and then you're going to send it exactly where you just deceived the forechecker into going to. So kind of funny. I think, again, like if you're going back for this and you want to reverse it, I'd be, like I don't think you're in any rush to move this. So I think fundamentally there's no reason you should be looking for the back same right away. Maybe you want to, like, you're looking at the way they built the forecheck. I don't mind it, because this guy's going to push you, this guy's going to push, and so if you take this out behind the net, you end up into a kind of tough spot. I still think you have like over the top of this guy to where he's pouring onto it. Maybe you find that layer. I think you can always roll it down and get it here to where you go here, and then you ask this is your D partner, or no, this is Bubba. Ask him to keep coming down. So then you end up into this spot, and this guy goes here or like there, and then this guy lines up, and then you're still in a pretty good fundamental situation. The nice thing about this is that you can take it behind the net and make your read. Maybe you can stop and come back. There's a lot that you can do because you have the protection of the net on this puck pickup. So I don't think you need to be moving it before the line. And if you are moving it before the line, you don't want to try and get him to bite on that, obviously. So I think I overcomplicated that a little bit. But point being, no rush on this. If you're going to fake it, if you're going to go back same, don't sell back same. Funny enough, Pretty still can't get there, even though he left pretty early to try and take that away, and you get the breakout. Nothing happens here for a little while, so I'm going to try and kind of speed through this portion. I think you just go a couple sequences without a puck touch for a while. You're just staying above the line. Good defensive gap. You pick this one up, send, nothing complicated. You got two at the net calling for it. Good play. It doesn't get through. Still staying on your guy, surfing up when you can to try and keep pucks in. Pretty routine. Offering the D to D. He doesn't need it. Staying above, sorting your forward with your D partner. These guys aren't doing the best job of selling anything too complicated, so it's pretty easy that you can just kind of be like, okay, I've got my guy on this side, you get your guy on this side. So far so good. Nothing too hard or complicated. And then you get to this spot where, as soon as I talk about it, right, they've coincidentally built a situation where you have 1, 2, so you need help, right? You got 2 and 0 guys on this side, so it makes sense for you to be calming and saying, hey, like, I need help, can you come pick up 43? Because no one can cover 43. The other thing you can do, again, is kind of like what we just talked about. If you see them building a stacked breakout where they have 1 and 2, you can penetrate through this purposefully and sag and say, you have 16, I'm taking this guy, come across and pick this guy up. Versus, this is really like this is where it gets hard. If you stick on this guy, it's impossible for your D partner to pick up this guy because there's just too much distance. So that's why if you sense that this guy's route is going to widen out and go like this into your D partner space, then just release that and communicate to him, and you go and pick up the guy that's further away for your D partner, which is exactly how it works out. But it's mainly because 16 skates all the way over there rather than kind of keeping it complicated. I think if 16, like my point is with that is if 16 had gone through the middle, then maybe it's a little bit more dangerous for them versus going around. It's just too easy. Now you're covered. But as it stands, you just kind of work it out. I still think that like you could be more on this guy, but if you just feel comfortable with a looser gap, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But you maintain really good like shooting lane, dot lane positioning. Really good job keeping your momentum, finding an outlet, winning the race to the corner, winning the race to the offensive zone. Good little skill play here. Understanding, you have probably a shot or a pass that's going to get blocked, so you're going to collect and then try and find it through your back. Really like it. You guys keep it alive. Plays it right back to you. Really nice catch and release. Some more just good stuff. Good ozone play. Good job. Like this is fundamental. Honestly, like I would use this to teach other defensemen what it should look like. Because your D down, he's gonna go into the offensive zone and get a shot, which means, again, that means Owen's gonna come out. But if you're left defenseman, right, this is your side of the ice. But your right defenseman just went down, so you're spinning the box. The box normally looks like this. Right now you have this, forward, 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 D, D. If your D is going to go down, then all of a sudden you just need to spin it, and you kind of roll into this diamond formation, which means you need to get to this side, which is what you naturally do. Makes it a lot easier for Owen to come up and pick up the left D position. So Owen becomes left D, you become right D, Bagel becomes, forward on the right side, and then you still have your forward on the opposite side. So that's where you just want to transition across the ice, fill that, try and get over there as quickly as you can to keep pucks in still. Good patience. You have shooting lane the whole way. Not a great shot that you probably liked, but this is all it needs to look like. Poise on the retrieval, awareness to recognize. Like this is bad forechecking. There's really no reason you need to be like just for pretty sake and for forechecking lessons. Like the reality is you can't turn like this in this game without a edge work usage. Which is going to slow you down. So you don't, as an F1, you don't need to be biting and guessing. You just need to be mirroring. You don't want to be giving up the whole turn. Now you're chasing it. So it's too easy in my book, but it's also a good play by you and good poise to have your head up and looking at the map the whole way with possession. This is really good. Like this is stuff that I've seen like high level defensemen really struggle with. Owen's really good about kind of slowing his roll on ozone arrival. So you got to drive outside lane. This guy coming in, and instead of finishing to the post like a lot of forwards do with speed, he comes in here and he stops at the top of the slot. So he's going to play this ice. A lot of defensemen don't keep their head. Don't keep looking at this guy. They kind of their eyes are channeled to the corner. So if we fast forward this a little bit, you're watching this. And you absent-mindedly just keep holding W, and you end up basically bottom of your crease, and then all of a sudden this high release becomes wide open, and you've managed your lane perfectly to where there's no coverage, or there's no possible way that he could get that through. And then at the same time, it's really nice here. Is Pretty realizes he's holding me. I'm going to try and beat him with the post because I got him to slow down. And as soon as that happens, you speed up again. So you go down to 10, 9 miles per hour, sprint to that far post, and you beat them. Like, it's fucking clockwork. It's really, really good defensive work. It's just a subtle thing. Like, your D partner probably doesn't need you, but I really, really think it's important for you to be flat or behind the puck line when you're in these spots. You don't necessarily need to be like, slamming on your brakes, but if you can kind of try and slow your roll a little bit so he's going to catch up to you, because the reality is, like, it's a little bit complicated, but eventually he'll want to turn, and if he wants to do that, you don't want to end up here. If you are like, he's not going to get back to you, okay? And this guy has to stay with the route to the net. So I think if you hang out kind of in this sweet spot, even you can expand the box a little bit, but if you go too far north, you're going into duplication coverage where Juice can cover basically both you and Owen. I think you kind of have a pretty good sense of this because you aren't flying up the ice. You're going 9 here. But I still think, like, why it's important or why it helps is if you are going to be the kick out. Let's say he wants to push this and find you on the kick out. If you are here with it and the pass goes like this, you can always sprint into that. But if you are, let's fast forward a little bit, and let's say the pass just ends up behind you for some reason, like, you get flat by the time he gets to that spot, so it's fine. Almost like you do alt, so I think you have a pretty good understanding of this. But even earlier in this point, like, I don't think you need to be sprinting and racing 43 back. You're not in front of 43, so you're never going to beat him. So again, kind of like we just did, coming back to our D zone, you can get open by slowing down. But as it stands, 43 has to turn anyway, so then you kind of hang out in that soft spot. It's really nice. It's really good play. And then you're going to spin back. 10 seconds left on the clock here, so you send it into the offensive zone, make a play, and that's the period. Really good period. I'd fucking really like it. I'll probably do like another half period, see if anything stands out, and then I'll cut it loose here because I really don't need to watch the whole thing. You have pretty good fundamentals. I think that's really good. Nothing to add on that. Tough back checks or backward skate spot. Yeah, you're really disciplined on some of the wall routes and keeping forwards in front of you. It's really nice, honestly. I find myself sometimes will get a little bit loose, and I'll try and like body a guy on the wall, and you're kind of surfing off of it and constantly keeping yourself above the line. This is just a turnover, so you're just put in the situation where you have to hold the passing lane and then strike on the puck when you get in reach, and I think you do your best job too. It deflects the puck on net, but it's not really on you. It's just unfortunate. Could have been dangerous with you and the goalie stick, but honestly, that just happens sometimes. Nice play. Really nice. Like, this is a spot where you realize you're going to be beat. If this pass is good enough, you'll just be beat, so you have to gamble because you're also worried about this pass. And so a lot of defensemen, and I think what I was worried about seeing with you when you were playing with pretty loose gap on this side of the ice earlier in the game, was you would just cover this guy, and in this case you manage your risk and decide, hey, if this pass is a dime and off the glass, maybe it's too fast for him, it goes into the corner, and so I think I can strike on this and break it up. And so you take your risk, you're in a 2-on spot, and you win, and you create a goal, which is really nice. Like, that's kind of the quick, the tight gaps that can help you spring counterattacks that are really good for your team offensively. Obviously, there's a world where you just get beat, but it wasn't on you. It's a 2-on-1, right? So you just kind of have to play a little bit of mental warfare to find a way, and show off your anticipation skills to read a pass. Good all the way through. really poised. Some breakdown, but it's mostly forward D's on arrival, so it's not really on you. You're just pushing the puck in the corner. Really nice play. Good stick on puck. Just kind of chasing it right now. Intermission. I didn't realize it was intermission. Really nice. Like your forwards put you in a pretty kind of put you in the soup here on the rim. So you're defending a 3-on-2. Got 3 options. You know, obviously the play probably should be to kick this out, but there's a chance that like your D partner strikes on that. He's got the inside edge on you a little bit, but you know you're kind of doing that deliberately. Unlucky, really nice read, but unlucky. Seems interesting. I thought you could have joined there. Don't know if I mean like I think this is your time to join, in my opinion. Like this is a potential spot where he needs you on the up. Like if you're there right now, you've got ozone, you know, shot plus LPR in this corner. Partial 3-on-2, honestly. Like I think you could have kept going there. If you're up, you will be drawing Juice to you a little bit, making him respect that slot line, staying on his side because he has to cover you, which gives Owen, a really talented player, a one-on-one matchup where he can try and, you know, cook Demi a little bit. Without that, it becomes a 2-on-1 for Owen. I understand why you would do that and why you're just trying to, you know, stay back on defense. You know that maybe Bubba's not going to cover for you, so then it's going to kind of open up the game. You don't need that in a 2-on-0 game state, but I think that's a situation where it's completely defensible for you to stay up on that. All right, we've reached the G-Pass portion of the game, so I might call it here. See if there's anything else worth. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna call it here. Really good. I like 99% of it. I think you're managing the responsibilities of D really well.